Okay, so for those who've been keeping up with YouTube drama, there's this group called The Watcher. Me and my girl have watched a couple of their videos in the past, but nothing too crazy. But Mosh will probably explain the whole situation, so we'll just watch this video. But let's get straight into it because I do think there's some parallels when it comes to Let's Keep It a Buck with this whole conversation going on. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
It's impossible to say what the worst feeling in the world might be. I think most people would default to answering that with something painful, like getting hit with a sledgehammer, getting shot. Childbirth is usually towards the top of that tier list for how painful it is. Maybe watching Rebel Moon Part 2 for how abominable it is. But I actually think there's a right answer to what the worst feeling in the world is. And it's being dead. And a YouTube channel called Watcher would agree with my analysis because they experienced death for about 3 days when they released their Goodbye YouTube video, where they announced that they were leaving the platform in order to have their own subscription-based third-party platform for their content going forward, and people didn't like that. They got spit on more than a mic at a beatboxing competition, and now they're backpedaling. They've released an apology, and they've announced that they've made a mistake, they've apologized, and they've talked about their plan going forward now. I'll bring you up to speed on the lore in case you're unfamiliar with this story.
That must have been crazy because I know, like, just look at the video chat that the announcement video, that looked like it took fucking weeks to make. Like, weeks to make. And I know they've had this plan cooking up in the back end. They probably hired some developers to make that website and shit. And for them to just retract everything in 2 days and be like, oh shit, we made a mistake. Let's take all of this away. That must have been annoying as fuck for them, dog.
But this is a massive YouTube channel. They are a beloved group where they made this absolute wet fart of announcement where it was saying that they were going to be producing all of their content going forward behind a paywall on their own platform for $6 a month. So all of the content that their fans were used to getting on YouTube for free is now locked behind a $6 a month subscription fee. They said they continue to drop premieres on YouTube, but the rest of the season, well, that would cost you some clams to access. Obviously, this ruffled everyone's feathers, especially considering they already have a Patreon where people were signing up for monthly membership fees of $5, $10, or $25 a month, and this was an additional service on top of that for a monthly subscription. So
let me just say this. This is just all such a coincidence to me because of everything going on with Let's Keep It a Buck. So, effectively, for those who don't know, Let's Keep It a Buck, my podcast, for those watching, we made a change recently where, we used to upload the full podcast from start to finish uncut on YouTube, and that used to be our main product. However, more recently, because of the focus that we've had on certain ventures and just trying to double down on the branding, we've decided to edit the podcast way more than ever before. And that means out of the 2.5 hour stream, y'all most likely just get an hour and a half after cutting out all the fluff. And we have gotten a lot of backlash on that, specifically because of the fact that the uncut version we put behind a paywall. The video version, the audio version is actually still out there for free, for the free ski. Shout out to the audio listeners. And if you want to watch the live stream, you can go on playback and watch everything uncut from start to fucking finish. So there's still free avenues to watch the pod the way you guys are used to it. But yeah, we got a lot of shit. We got a lot of shit for essentially putting the main podcast on a paywall and effectively taking something away that was free from the people. Now we are making some changes to it. We've been looking into some editors, not some editors, but we've been looking at some ways to give y'all a completely different experience on the cut up version. Because right now it does just feel like we took away content from y'all that was free. But we are making some changes in the background that's going to make the revised pod that y'all see on YouTube a completely different experience. Okay? So y'all aren't getting robbed. Y'all are getting a completely different experience. Nevertheless. I think where they fucked up was essentially they did what we did on just the most dumbass scale possible. Number one, they're bigger than us, right? Number two, they fucked up in the sense of they already had a Patreon. They already had a paid platform. And they decided to create this whole other paid platform that you have to pay an additional membership on to get additional content that used to be free. And I think that was their mistake number 2. They took something that was free and just put it under a paywall, period, point blank. Just put it under a paywall, period, point blank. There is no, preview of it on YouTube. Well, they said they're about to premiere it, but nevertheless, I still think it's not the same. There's no like cut up version of it on YouTube. You can't go on Spotify and get the free version. You just gotta download a different app. There's nothing. It's either you pay or you catch it live, which is crazy. Which is crazy. And I do think when it comes to YouTubers doing this type of shit, motherfuckers just really underestimate the power of YouTube and how loyal people are to YouTube, the platform. You know what I'm saying? You will definitely get conversions from, because YouTube is essentially your top funnel. And if you're trying to create this new bottom funnel, there will be people that convert. But there are a lot of people that just want to stay on YouTube and stay on YouTube, and anything outside of YouTube, they're not going. You know what I'm saying? I think the hardest thing in the world to do right now, chat, as a online entrepreneur, as someone trying to build an online brand, is getting people to download an app. Getting people to download an app. Getting people to consume content on a whole different platform. And that's because, let's keep it a stack. When you get your phone, or when you have your phone right now, you already got your core apps. You know what I'm saying? Everyone got their core apps that they're used to just, it's a habit for them. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, for the motherfuckers in here right now. You might have Facebook, you might have Google Chrome, you might have Snapchat. But getting someone to download a TikTok, but getting someone to download a whole different app and make that a part of their normal regimen, and on top of that, pay monthly for it, bro, that shit is hard as fuck to do. That shit is hard as fuck to do. Yeah, moving platforms is rough. Now, is it just motherfuckers being lazy for real? I'm gonna keep it a stack, yes. It is just viewers being lazy for real. But as a business owner, I mean, these are the type of things that you have to deal with, So
It was just a disaster. And they lost close to like 100,000 subs over the course of 3 days. It wasn't quite 100K, but it was a lot. And now, today, they've released this.
Hey everyone, last Friday we announced that we're leaving YouTube and launching our new streaming platform.
We messed up. A lot of you spoke out with extremely valid comments and concerns, and we want to take the time now to address those.
We've been reading the things you've been saying, and we're sorry for the way we handled this, as well as the way we communicated it.
Right up front, it succeeds where a lot of other YouTuber apologies fail. They say they fucked up, and they say the golden word, I'm sorry. They make an apology right off rip. So it's a pretty good start to this one, all things considered.
We understand where you're coming from, and we're making immediate changes.
First, we want to affirm that you are the reason why we've been able to do anything at this company. You helped us every step of the way when we left BuzzFeed to start Watcher at the top of the pandemic in 2020.
You've supported us in so many ways by watching our content, attending our live shows, buying our merch, becoming members of our Patreon, and giving words of encouragement over the years.
This is another super strong moment here because it's tugging on the audience's heartstrings. It's very much buttering them up in a positive way. I'm not saying that as a negative thing. It's clear that
from my understanding, they're like an offspring of BuzzFeed. Like, BuzzFeed doesn't exist anymore, but BuzzFeed was like their mother company that they separated from. BuzzFeed has actually produced like a lot of big YouTube stars that y'all probably don't know.
Recognize the significance
the
of having that audience. The whole content creation shit online doesn't work if no one's watching it. I mean, I guess if you had like an army of bots that view it, like you're a kick streamer or something, then maybe you can make an argument that it'd be sustainable even if you don't have a single human being watching. But clearly they understand that you need a passionate audience in order to survive in the online cyberspace Thunderdome. Now there's...
And that was, to me, that was just a whole risk. That was so risky for them because I understand you're a big shot. You got millions of subscribers, so you can do things. And when you ask people to download an app or even pay for something, there's gonna be a lot more motherfuckers that buy that shit as opposed to someone who doesn't have that platform. But as a business, an online business doing this entrepreneur shit online, I still think if your business relies on social media, especially with the way they do their content, relying on just TikTok and Instagram and Twitter to get your content out there is like a scary thing to do, especially if you built your brand off of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of eyes that might even forget that you fucking exist because you just don't exist on this platform that the way that you used to. And now that's gonna fuck up all your fucking numbers. Fuckity fuck type shit.
Here's something I want to mention here, though. He briefly mentioned some of the ways the audience has supported them over the years, such as buying the merch, attending the live shows, subscribing to the Patreon for the monthly fee, and encouraging words. 3 out of 4 of those are huge revenue drivers. The kind words, not so much. You can't really make a whole lot of money. You can't convert nice comments to USD. There's no direct conversion there for that. I mean, unless you're making Hallmark cards, perhaps. But those other 3, attending live shows, subscribing to the Patreon, and also buying the merch. And there is a 4th one there as well, which is just by watching the videos, you are directly financially supporting them because AdSense through YouTube monetization, as well as the brand partners that have paid to be on their content. So they're already heavily monetized content, and I didn't even think about the live shows the first time I watched their video. That's a huge part of some teams' bottom lines because they bring in so much money. It's like one of the main revenue drivers for bands in particular with concerts and buying tickets to it. So they have a lot of revenue sources already for their brand. So then immediately after hearing that in this video, I was like, so then why did you want to do Watcher TV for $6 a month? You have all of these other streams that the audience has been supporting for so long. Why would you want to have another one to milk those titties dry? Like, it seems like, it just doesn't seem right. It seems...
It did seem like, from the outside looking in, like, they already figured out the fucking business model. They already figured out the business model, and it was just time to execute. And the only thing they really needed to worry about was just generating new ideas and making more content. Once you got that infrastructure set up, there's not really much to do. And for them to just fuck up the infrastructure, that's some scary shit to do.
It's greedy. Now, they do shine some light on the motive behind doing this, the reason behind the Watcher TV idea in the first place. So we'll get to that pretty soon.
And we are incredibly grateful for your support.
We're sorry for how we originally delivered our goodbye message to YouTube. It was insensitive. We didn't properly express how much we appreciate all of you. And we did a really bad job of explaining the reasoning behind this transition.
We also want to deeply apologize for our ignorance around the impact of the cost. We regret stating and implying that it's a price that anybody can afford, and we fully acknowledge that it is not. We didn't take the proper consideration for how this cost would affect you, and hope you know that we are taking this as a serious learning experience.
It seems like they really did listen to...
Wait, isn't it $6? I mean, respectfully, I ain't gonna lie. If $6 is breaking your bank for real, what are we doing? Like, you gotta be a different level of bro to... Nah, dude. Nah. It's a PR answer. Yeah, Venom. That's definitely a PR answer for them, but nah, dude.
To pretty much all the feedback. They're hitting all of the main points, both in their delivery as well as the actual idea behind this.
No. On some, like, listen to how they just... On some economic... We didn't think about the economical impact. Like, bro, it's $6. Like, oh my God, if you don't got it, you don't got it. That's the weird thing when it comes to, like, selling products. Just anything. Motherfuckers make it seem like people are forcing you to buy shit. It's optional. Buying shit is always optional. Unless it's food. Like, that unless it's food, unless it's internet, unless it's utilities, unless it's rent. Like, necessities for real. Like, all these little, like, no one is fucking forcing you to buy this shit.
Venture. So it's nice that they're up here taking the accountability and saying, yeah, these are things that we really just didn't even think about. I'm sorry. We fucked it up. Like, that is something that you don't see very often, so it's nice to see them just take it on the chin here.
With that in mind, we're making...
Most people have so many different substitutions already now, though. And I understand that. If I had $6, if, like what Cardiac said, would that... If I had $6 and I haven't spent any money on other subscriptions, would I rather have that shit go to Hulu or to the Watcher? You're going to get 10x more content with so much more variety with Hulu. Even with ads, I'm paying Hulu with ads. But all I'm saying is at the end of the day, no one is like, you got that choice. No one is forcing you to buy any of this shit.
Making some changes to ensure that there's a way for our community to continue watching our content for free.
If you want to watch our shows early and ad-free, you can catch them on the Watcher platform a month earlier. After that, you'll be able to watch our shows on YouTube for free. For those that have already subscribed to the platform, we are so grateful for your support. But if this change has you rethinking your membership, we will issue a full refund. And all past episodes and series will remain available on YouTube.
That's a pretty solid change overall. That is something you see for a lot of Patreons for YouTubers or third-party offerings if it's not Patreon. So it does make sense that they do this here. I am surprised that that's not something they were
That's
already
actually decent.
offering on
That's actually
Patreon with early access. That's one of the more standard ones. But I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If there's people that are just hungry, starved for more Watcher content, they can subscribe for $6 a month on that platform and they get that content fed to them a month early. And those that don't want to or can't afford to can just wait for it to premiere on YouTube for free, as it has always done in the past for the content that they've come to know and love. That gets 2 thumbs way up from me for the back of the DVD box on that change. I think that's completely fine. Everyone wins there. If you really want the content early, you subscribe to the early access membership for Watcher TV. And if you just want to get the content that you already know you like, you just wait for it to come up on YouTube, and it's no different.
Who the fuck is watching them? I deadass don't know who they are. Hey man, the internet is bigger than you think, bruh. The internet is bigger than you think. I feel like a lot of motherfuckers think the internet is just a WRL community. Bro, the internet is so much bigger than you think.
For you. So I think that is a totally fair compromise.
As for the question of why we decided to launch our own platform, when we started Watcher in 2020, we wanted to create shows that we were proud of, that we had ownership over, and that would provide you the caliber of content that we felt you deserved.
Internet is
However,
devious. Absolutely.
we were finding it harder and harder to stay relevant to advertisers
they got 3
in the
million,
constantly
2.2
changing YouTube landscape.
This is where my eyebrow raised a bit, so I decided to look into their content just briefly. I didn't do like a full deep dive here, but of their last 20 videos, 12 of them have brands on them. I'm excluding their Goodbye YouTube video, but also there's one more in that batch of 20 that I think doesn't really count, and it's a teaser trailer for the mystery files that they did, so it was just a very short trailer. But 12 out of 19 full videos have sponsors in them. As I mentioned in the last video, I own an agency that manages a lot of major YouTube channels of this size and bigger. So I know what a lot of those deals look like, and I know that those deals are super lucrative. And at their size, those are significant numbers that we're looking at. Over half of their videos of the last 20 are brand partnered. It doesn't seem like they were really struggling to get brands on their content, so I don't exactly know what he means by staying relevant to brands, especially because in this industry, brands focus mainly on your cold, hard Carfax, your metrics, your numbers, and they pull in great viewership numbers as well as a very engaged community. So brands must have hearts in their eyes anytime they get the chance to work with Watcher, just because their numbers are so good. But on top of that, they actually produce some of the most brand-friendly content imaginable. This is the type of shit brands salivate over. It's long-form, highly produced.
Yeah, long form, highly produced, PG content, bro. Like that's a brand's, and they probably professional with how they communicate with brands and all that shit. That is a brand's heaven, right there. The channel that they got. Yeah, I'm really thinking about it, bro. Like, I don't know, bro, because I think as business owners, like, you know, you want to scale up. You got more aspirations typically than what you're already at. So is this the move that they felt like was going to take them to that next level, setting that infrastructure for their own subscription service, and they could expand that out? Maybe that's what they thought. But at the same token, like, how much is enough? And I don't really know that until I see their books for real. That's my only thing. Like, we could talk about how much money they make, how much money they can make off these brand deals, off of their Patreon, because I believe they make like $100K a month on Patreon. But how much are their expenses? How much are their operating costs? You know what I'm saying? What are the lifestyles of the 3-4 co-hosts that they got? Because when you're operating in a group project chat, it almost feels as if you need to make 4 times the amount of, like, from an individual basis, the amount of work it takes me to make what I make on Let's Keep It a Buck after everyone's split is like half the work. I'm telling you right now, I spent a lot of time working on Let's Keep It a Buck compared to other platforms that I got, and I'm gonna just keep it a stack. Most months I'm making more money on other platforms working for less. So it also depends on the lifestyles of the individual people on there, dude.
Content, and the creators actually do skits for the ads, at least in all the ones I've seen. They do like a fully produced brand piece in this content, so the audience actually enjoys watching these ads. That is a match made in heaven for sponsors. So I was very confused on what he meant by staying relevant to brands. And then the second thing about, staying relevant in like the ever-changing YouTube ecosystem, that's
Charlie
a totally
has a
understandable
$3
one.
RPM?
I get that. The YouTube ecosystem is 100% like this boogeyman that no one fully understands. But it doesn't really make sense to me. We found it harder and harder to compete in the ever-changing YouTube landscape, so we abandoned
I wonder if your RPM just go down the more viewership you get, like just naturally. I don't know.
it. We waved the white flag and said we're defeated, so we created our own platform with blackjack and hookers. That's a Futurama reference. I'm not saying that's what Watcher TV is. But the point is, why would you go from this is a lot going on YouTube and it's changing to, all right, guess we got to leave it now and then charge people for access? That just doesn't really compute to me, because you kill your brand, obviously, which I think they've recognized now from all the feedback. It's very hard to get people to subscribe to $6 a month content on a third-party platform they don't know, as opposed to just showing them some free YouTube videos. You built your brand very successfully on YouTube, and you are still only growing from everything I can tell. So why would you abandon it at the height of your growth, right?
Is Moist Asian? He's always confused me.
Like that, I don't know. That reason doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. But I understand being like afraid about, long-term sustainability with how frequently YouTube is changing. I do get that. But I feel like the natural progression there would be like, okay, so how can we stay competitive on YouTube? As opposed to, okay, how the fuck can we get out of here?
We faced some incredibly challenging decisions. We didn't want to compromise our content to ensure they met advertising requirements. And we definitely did not want to lay people off that have brought Watcher to life behind the scenes.
I do think in the ideal world, and I think maybe this is what they felt. I'm just trying to see where they're coming from. They may have felt that, because I think ideally as a creator, you want to create the content that you want on your own time, make money from it, and don't have to worry about some algorithm. You know what I'm saying? And I do think paid memberships allow you to do that, to have less pressure on you to worry about audience retention. You don't got to worry about the title. You don't got to worry about the thumbnail as much. You just got to focus on the idea and the execution of the video, which, let's keep it a stack, bruh. No one signed up to be a YouTuber to be an editor. Like, majority of us want to be on-camera talent. We're focused more on the ideas and building communities. You know what I'm saying? No one signed up to be a YouTuber to be a tier 1 SEO analyst, title thumbnail specialist. No one did that shit. So maybe they were on some, listen, we're going to take a viewership hit here. But once we get people in that door, you do whatever the fuck you want. So I can't imagine how they don't make enough to support the company with 100 million views yearly, probably like 6,000 paid Patreons and consistent sponsors. I do think there is greed involved in this. I'll say that. I do think there's definitely greed involved in this, because even when I brought up the operating costs and all that shit, like you would, they would have to expend so much money on a video, on all these videos, to be worrying about shit like that. And individually, they would have to have such a lavish lifestyle to like do some shit like this. I don't know. But
And we didn't want to bring Watcher to a close, which would have happened if we stayed solely on YouTube.
That's why we decided to launch the platform, so that we as a company could continue, we could pay our staff fairly, and not only continue to make great content for you, but expand with new shows, new voices, all ad-free. And now with the addition of accessible options, this is a decision that we all believe is the best for Watcher.
All those reasons he
Again, I just don't know, because I'm definitely, and shout out to everyone that has worked for me over the last 2 to 3 years. I am still not in a position to pay motherfuckers full-time salaries, dog. So imagine have your standard being so high that people expect 70,000 salaries from you each. And now you have a slate of team members that have that salary. So let's do some pocket watching here. Some light pocket watching. Let's say you got 7 employees. 60, let's put them at 65,000 each. You would need to just pay those 7 employees. You would need to make $455,000 in a single year to pay 7 employees $65,000. All right. Again, I don't know what their other operating costs are. Let's just say the 4 dudes, they want to live off, I don't know, $120K a year salary. Let's do, oh my God, $120K a year. So now you got to make another $480 mil. Are they making $1 million easy every single year? Honestly, I think they are. Honestly. But I don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. What the fuck?
lists are perfectly reasonable. You don't want to lay off your staff? Great. You want to pay them fair? Great. Like all of these, they check mark the boxes of good shit. I support that. But I don't understand why your only option was to leave YouTube and charge $6 a month to your audience that's already paying for more merch, live shows, and Patreon.
Now, I will say this. Let's look at the Watchers Patreon. Because even off that math alone. Hey, Chad, hold on. Hold on, man. even off that, nah. Okay, so they got 13,000 members. They got 13,000 members, huh? It typically shows how much you make. Or they could turn on that option. Okay, fuck it. 13,000 members. It may have gone down ever since this, though. At a baseline of $5 a month. So if they got 13,000 times, and this is the minimum too, times 5 times 12. Just off of their membership content alone, they're damn near making $1 million, probably $1 million. To be honest with you, just off of their Patreon, they're probably making $1 million. They also got merch. They also got brand deals. They also got AdSense. I would not be surprised, chat, if this operation probably nets $5-6 million a year. 5-6 million a year. And at that point, I will say this again: you would have your operating costs and how much you're paying these your staff would be so fucking high, and you would also be paying every individual owner such a high price for you to be like, oh my God, we need to make this whole new platform and make more money. Like that at that level, chat, if I'm making 4 to 5 a year, I'm on some, okay, how do I just maintain this for as long as I can? How do I invest this into real estate or into the fucking stock market so that I don't have to work the rest of my life? Like, once I make that type of money, that's the type of time that I'm on. I'm not looking to make more money once I get to that point, bro. I don't know.
At least a large number of them are. They have over 13.4 thousand Patreon members right now. From all of this controversy, their Patreon has actually flourished more than it ever has from what I can see.
Nah, that's crazy.
So why would you want to take even more money out of their piggy banks here? The strategy would be to keep growing on YouTube so you can continue to monetize. You can charge higher rates to the brands that you work with, that I imagine you will continue to work with. And also, more views means more AdSense money. And like I said, this channel is so advertiser friendly. It's exactly what brands and YouTube themselves want: long form, high quality content. Their RPM is probably super fucking high. So the more they would grow on YouTube, the more money they would stand to make. They would easily be able to expand, I would think, without charging $6 a month for their initial idea of paywalling.
I think at the end of the day, and I think Let's Keep It a Buck honestly falls under this trap too of just like trying to squeeze the lemon as hard as it can. Bro, everything is answered by just more views. It's so simple. Every single creator's answer, every single creator's question monetarily, every single creator's problems monetarily is just answered by getting more views. It's so simple. I know it's probably sounds simple to y'all, but trust me, with the conversations we have as creators behind the scenes, people overthink this shit, dog. At the end of the day, bro, get more views, make the best content that you can, and literally everything else will just kind of come your way. You know what I'm saying? With more views, you get higher brain rates. With more views, you get more AdSense money. With more views, you get more longevity, more people to watch your shit. And it's just a cycle. And that's why you got clout-hungry motherfuckers, because, hey, it is a lucrative business.
Content that they were used to giving for free. I do like their new model of pay $6 a month for early access, but I still do find it unnecessary. I feel like the only reason that's there is because they can't fully walk back that now. They can't just get rid of that because people have already paid for it, so they need to offer something to those people that have already signed up. But I don't think it's a necessary thing for the survival of their brand. I really don't. Like I said, I know what these brands pay to be on the content. So just their sponsorships, I know they're bringing in 6 figures from these sponsorships. Easy. And their Patreon, you can start crunching the numbers. 13.4 thousand Patreons at $5 minimum, up to $25. Like, come on. That's a lot per month. Plus their...
Yeah, because you would even probably assume that a majority of this is 10. Because every time I've done a membership platform chat, typically the most amount of members is that middle tier. Never want to go too high, never want to go too low. You just get that just right tier. So, yeah, this calculation right here is a low ball. I need y'all to understand that. This is a low ball. It is probably closer to 1.3, 1.4, to be honest with you. To be fucking honest with you.
Their merch is pretty pricey, and people are clearly buying their merch. It seems to sell out quite a bit. That's a lot, too. Live show tickets, when those come around, that's a pretty big influx. Their AdSense popping off. Like, they have so many revenue streams, I don't know how they can possibly be at this point where they need to find more ways of taking money from their audience in order to survive. That just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, unless there's some really odd mismanagement going on behind the scenes here. The videos they make aren't cheap, but I am confident that they're not costing them $500,000 per video or something outlandish like that. I know that's not the case. So how can you possibly be at this point where we had to find a new subscription for people to pay for in order to keep Watcher alive?
We should have more pocket watching segments, to be honest. Financial Beast Souls channel inbound. Let's keep it a pocket watching stream. Listen, I don't think it may be down the pipeline, like down the pipeline, but I'll try to give y'all as much insight as I can on the financial side of this creator shit, because this shit is just so interesting, and I don't think people really have the proper knowledge to really assess like a lot of the things that they see. You know what I'm saying? And especially with the feared bucks of the world becoming credible sources when it comes to streamer deals and things of that sort, there's just a lot of misinformation out there, bro.
I just don't get that.
However, we realized that in figuring out the logistics of what this might take, we overlooked the way it would impact all of you. We hope you'll be patient with us through these mistakes, and we remain incredibly sorry that they were made in the first place.
We also want to directly address our Patreon community, who have played such a key role in supporting us from the very beginning. All current Patreon members will receive a free subscription code to the platform. If you already purchased a subscription, please contact us and we will issue you a full refund.
We look forward to continuing to make shows and introducing all the incredible things that we've got planned for the platform alongside YouTube. And in the meantime, we are forever grateful to all of the people who make up our community.
Who are you?
And we hope that you consider joining us in this next chapter of our journey, whether that's on YouTube or on the platform.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Overall, this is
Nah, them boys lost sleep. Them boys look like they lost fucking sleep. Let me show y'all dude in the right too. Them boys have definitely lost hours of fucking sleep over this shit. This is B Souls, and you're watching the Pocket Watchers on a Coin Counter Network. Dan, 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 dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Overall, this is a good apology video, I feel. They say I'm sorry multiple times, they admit their faults, they try and explain why things were the way that they are, and how they missed the mark. Like, they take a lot of it and seem to understand it from a place of genuine authenticity, which is great. I still, however, don't understand why it reached that point
Losing the whole plaque in 3 days, bro, and still having 2.8. I wish I had that fucking problem.
to begin with. I don't see how a channel of their size and their success with all of the revenue streams that they currently offer could possibly be struggling financially. I really don't understand. I don't. Like, knowing what I know about this space, I just don't see how they could be needing to take
It don't. Moist. That's the answer, bro. They're professional bag getters. Okay, they're French. They're professional bag getters. They saw a bag and they wanted to go after it. Okay, did it backfire? Yes, absolutely. But they saw a bag at the end of the tunnel. Was it Chanel? Was it Versace? Was it Louis V? We'll never find out. But there was a bag at the end of the tunnel, bro. Let's not act dumb. That's what this was. That's what this was.
make even more money from their audience to survive. I do think they made a good change with what they're offering for $6 a month. I personally don't think that it's necessary at all, though, especially because the way they frame it in this video makes it sound like that's the only way the watcher survives, is if they find a way to monetize even more off the backs of their viewers. So that's why the $6 a month there is being charged, because it helps keep them afloat. I don't know how they could possibly, with all of these revenue streams, be struggling to the degree that they make it seem like they are. But whatever, that's neither here nor there, I suppose. This announcement was very positively received by their audience, and that's the most important thing for the health of their channel and their brand, is that their audience feels satisfied with this update. And from what I can tell, they do. A lot of them do still state that there's been a breach of their trust here with what they tried, but it seems like they're forgiving and willing to see how things play out for this group in the future. So I guess we'll see what the watcher does down the line. That's really about it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's tough. That's tough right there. Wishing them the best. But listen, man, you tried to cross the line and they said no. Long story short, how will you respond is how will you respond.